Good evening and welcome to the 7th Annual World Jewish Congress Herzl Award Dinner. It's my great pleasure to welcome Ambassadors Derma, Danon, and Dayan from Israel, along with ambassadors from many countries here tonight, and senior members of the United Nations. On Passover, we always read the 4 questions, and one of them is, why is this night different from all other nights? And tonight I will begin with the question, why is this Herzl dinner different from all other Herzl dinners? Almost 2 weeks ago, I just finished speaking to 1,300 people in Phoenix, Arizona, about the political war against Israel and the growing threat of anti-Semitism in Europe, coming from both left and right. As president of the World Jewish Congress, I told them that I've been traveling and seeing Jewish communities throughout the world. I told them that over the past 11 years, there's been a visible increase of hatred against the Jewish people, not just in Israel, but throughout Europe. Early this fall, neo-Nazis marched openly and defiantly in Chemnitz, Germany. Jews have been murdered in the streets of Paris, Brussels, and Copenhagen because they were Jews. The BDS movement, which seeks the destruction of the Jewish state, is growing stronger on college campus and many media outlets. There is a constant, disproportionate, unrelenting attack against Israel in the United Nations. I told the people in Phoenix that these threats are real and they are growing, but I said all this from the safety of the United States of America. After the Phoenix speech, I was about to get on a plane to Moscow for a 2-day conference on anti-Semitism with the Russian Jewish Congress. That's when I first heard about the shooting in Pittsburgh. I canceled my trip to Moscow and instead flew to Pittsburgh. One thought kept going through my mind. Part of me never expected I would have to come to a Jewish community in the United States where people were gunned down in a synagogue during a Shabbat service. But another part of me was not surprised at all. I have seen this hatred building. Before Pittsburgh, our chief concern was not here. It was in Europe, and especially in Israel. But now it's come home. So why is this Herzl dinner different from all others? One word, Pittsburgh. What I saw when I got to Pittsburgh was a devastated community. Squirrel Hill is one of the oldest and most successful Jewish communities in the United States. It's home to Orthodox, conservative, and Reform synagogues. And while I spoke to the people there and listened to them, all this went through my mind. This is not old Europe. This is the United States of America. We were Jews. We have been privileged to live since before the founding in 1776. We have prospered beyond our wildest dreams, and we have contributed so much. From Dr. Saul's polio vaccine to Emma Lazarus' poem on the Statue of Liberty, from legal scholarship to the golden age of Hollywood, from commerce and business and jobs, to Irving Berlin's God Bless America, which we just sung. I could spend the entire evening reading the list of Jewish accomplishments here in America and throughout the world. But what I saw in Pittsburgh was a quiet, dignified strength. Terrible sadness, of course, but there's also determination to continue, just as we have seen in Israel, year after year. It's that strength I want to talk about tonight. You want to know how Jews react to this kind of hatred? When they brought in the shooter and to the hospital, the Allegheny General Hospital, and he kept shouting anti-Semitic curses, guess who treated him? Jewish doctors and nurses. An FBI agent who had the job to stay in the emergency room with the patient came up to Dr. Jeff Cohn, who treated this man with great care and respect. And the agent said, I don't think I could have done what you did. Dr. Cohn replied, if you were in my shoes, you would do the same. That is how the Pittsburgh Jewish community reacted to the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history. And that is how we, as a people, are. The World Jewish Congress began in 1936 when a group of Jewish activists came together in Geneva to warn the world about the gathering danger coming out of Germany. These Jewish activists were absolutely right at what they tried to do, but they didn't have the power or the influence to accomplish it, and they were facing world leaders who just didn't care. The world ignored these warnings, and it paid a terrible price. The day after tomorrow, we will observe the 80th anniversary of Kristallnacht, November 9th, 1938. The deadly riots throughout Germany and Austria, when over 1,000 synagogues were burned to the ground, and the firemen were ordered to watch and do nothing. 3 days later, on November 11th, 1938, after Hitler saw that there was no world condemnation of this outrage, he knew he can do whatever he wanted with the Jews, and the world did not care. In just 3 days, between November 9th and November 11th, 1938, the fate of European Jews was sealed. But today, it's not 1938. Yes, we face new enemies and new dangers. They seek the destruction of Israel and the murder of Jews. But today, we are not powerless. Timid Jews of 1938, afraid to make waves. Today, the World Jewish Congress speaks out, and it speaks out with a loud voice. What the World Jewish Congress does every single day is not just monitor the dangers that Jewish communities face throughout the region. We also work stopping these dangers before they harm us. 3 years ago, we began a program that sent security experts to communities throughout Europe and Latin America to set protective measures in place. A significant amount of money raised tonight is going to especially to that security and the funds to provide security for Jews worldwide. I travel constantly, rarely at home. Some people can tell you that. I visit many of the 100 countries we represent. I've spoken to 3 popes about the constant unfair attacks on Israel. I met with world leaders from Germany to Argentina to Albania, talking about the dangers facing the Jewish citizens in their countries. For the last 11 years, I have made this my life's mission. 30 years ago, if you told me if I'd be doing this, I said you must be smoking something. But over 30 years, I've changed the world silence of the 1930s that still haunts me, and I will continue to fight for the Jewish people everywhere. If I learn one lesson, is this: when we are united, when we speak as one people, there's nothing we cannot accomplish. I don't care if you're Orthodox, conservative, reform, or secular. I don't care if you're on the right or the left, Republican or Democrat, Likud or Labor. The anti-Semites don't care. Why should we? We should stop fighting with one another, and it should stop now. Here's what I believe. We are one people, one extraordinary people. We may be small in numbers, but have given the world so much. We are one people who have defied time and defied logic for still being around after more than 3,000 years. And we are one people who watch out for each other. That is the mission of the World Jewish Congress, and it's a noble mission, one that I'm proud of. I thank you all for being here tonight and supporting us in our work, in our mission. I'm not finished. I'm not finished yet. I want to thank our co-chairs, Chela Safa and David de Rothschild, whose family we honor tonight, along with Jacob Rothschild, who honors us with the acceptance of their award. And we honor Bob Kraft also tonight, whose leadership and commitment to Israel and the Jewish people inspires us. To honorees and to all of you who have joined us this evening, I want to say a heartfelt thank you. The World Jewish Congress is strong and growing strong every day. Here is my promise to everyone here tonight. We will follow Herzl's motto. If you will it, it is so. We will chart the cause of the Jewish people throughout the diaspora. This is not to be left to others. We will shape our own destiny. We are not the Jews of the 1930s. Today we have power, we have influence, and we are not afraid to be heard. And thank God we have a Jewish state that is strong and smart and resilient. We don't have an IDF, but we are fighting with our schools, and we are training our young people to carry on this fight. Shella Safra, David Rothschild, Robert Singer, and I could not do this alone. They are young Jewish leaders from countries around the world, some of whom are here tonight. They are students from my J Academy, which is part of my foundation in Berlin. We also have Jewish community leaders who are the backbone of the World Jewish Congress. And finally, there are dedicated staff, members of the World Jewish Congress, who are fighting every day for all of us. I want all of them to stand. You want to see our future? This is our future. These are people that deserve strong applause, not me. Please stand. Now, thank you very much. You'll hear from me later. Thank you.